Hi, I'm Tara Keeping with NameDropper.tv. With me is Christina Martins, who is the Executive Director for the Canadian Mental Health Association here in Nanaimo. Actually, it's a Mid-Island branch, which goes from Nanaimo to the north of Island. And here we are on Departure Bay at the Hope Lutheran Church, which is a beautiful venue. We're just in, isn't it, with that
That's
view?
Gorgeous.
We were starting to do the interview there, but it was a little too loud for us to do it there because there was a lot of people that showed up for the luncheon. It's an annual fundraiser that they do. And we're going to pick Christina's brain about the mental health, because it's a huge issue, because it's 1 in 5 people that I don't want to say suffer, but suffer from mental health. So
1 in 5 people live with mental health issues, and there's no need to live without support. There's lots of support available, and it ranges. It ranges from medical treatment to community supports to peer support to skills programs to vocational rehab programs. There's lots of things available for people that can help them live successfully in spite of symptoms of mental illness. And this is Mental Illness Awareness Week, so we really want to get that message out there, that people don't have to become victims to their symptoms.
And another good thing as well that you said, a really good speech in there, is that some people don't even know that they're actually living with it. They don't even know. And I'm just wondering if you could just give us some symptoms or something that people would know, like, ooh, that could be me, so then they know there's some support and resources to go to.
Well, typically what you see is that people stop doing the things that they normally do. They stop going out, they stop seeing their friends. If there was a hobby that they have, they stop doing that. Those are really key signs that something is going on. People start to get a lot more quiet, or they start to have a more vivid fantasy life, or they isolate themselves in their apartments. And that kind of unusual behavior can signal the onset of some mental health issues.
And also that sounds a lot like depression, when you're saying you don't leave your house, you stop doing the things you do, like cooking and the normal tasks and stuff. But depression is mental illness.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, and there are lots of ways to combat the symptoms and to make you feel well enough and energetic enough to get out and to take back your life.
And now another thing, because I want to know more about this as well. Does a mental illness normally start out with a depression? Is that safe to say, or no?
No, there are so many different ways that this manifests itself that it's really difficult. But what tends to happen is that family members will notice that you've changed, or you will notice that you've stopped doing things.
In a negative.
And in a negative way.
Yes.
So things that are impacting your life negatively. You know, you can't go to work anymore, you can't go to school, or you're fearful, or you're so fearful you can't leave your apartment. But there's many different signs and symptoms, and there's lots of good resources on the web. www.cmha.bc.ca is our provincial CMHA address, and then from there you can link to all of the regional offices.
Okay, and I just have another question too. Is that can you just list so we get a better clear vision of it as well, the different types of mental illness? Like there's depression, would be anxiety would be one, or
anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. There's lots of different types, but sometimes it's really not helpful to go into it thinking about a specific one. Mental health is about being mentally healthy enough to have the life that you want, and so anything that deters from that is can be the sign of a mental illness, or it can be a sign of a health condition that you need to deal with, just like a physical condition.
But there isn't like the information or the education, because there is a stigma, as you're saying in the speech. There's a stigma. People don't want to talk about it, and
yeah, it's very strong. People are ashamed or embarrassed, or their families tell them, if they just pulled up their own socks, they'd be fine. It's very difficult sometimes. And the message that we want to get out there is that this is just like any health condition.
Yes.
There are things that go wrong that can be treated, and there's help out there in a variety of ways. So if something is bothering you and it's been ongoing, ask for help.
And then awareness too, that's huge, because people just simply may not have the awareness.
Yep, they may not. And they come on so gradually sometimes that they don't notice.
Right.
They don't notice what's been taken away from them, or that they've changed their lives to accommodate an anxiety or a panic. Right. And all of a sudden they find themselves trapped in their apartment, or not seeing their friends, or those kind of things. And it's subtle.
Yeah.
It's very subtle.
Definitely some food for thought. And also it could be circumstance related too. circumstantial, that a circumstance may
Yeah.
arise, and then that could trigger something.
Exactly. I mean, there's all kinds of ways, and the key is to get help soon.
Yes.
To get help early, and to not get to the point where where managing your symptoms has become a habit. Whether it's a habit with substance use, or it's a habit of behavior. Like I said about being trapped in your apartment, that's a habit that comes as a way of managing your symptoms. And so it's about getting help before you develop those negative habits.
Good. And another thing you said too, which was huge as well, is that I've got to become a member, because you said something about for funding from the provincial, from the feds, that it's actually better for people to become a member rather than just give a donation.
Exactly.
Yes.
The more members an organization has, the stronger the organization is. We draw a lot on our members for writing letters, to have mental health funding funded properly,
Right.
to make mental health an issue in the workplace. The more members that we have, the better.
Perfect.
The easier it is for us to do our job.
Good. So there you go, folks, that if you are wanting, if this is very interesting to you, or you know someone, or whatever the circumstances may be, become a member. And it's for $20 rather than do a donation, because there's more power, more voice, more, as Christina was saying, for funding, which is huge. You
It
rely
is.
on your funding as a nonprofit organization.
Yes, we do.
So,
Yep.
Perfect, Christina. Thank you so
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
taking some time out to speak with Name
Thank
Dropper.
you for coming.
Oh, of course, my pleasure. So this is Tara Keeping with Christina Martins at NameDropper.tv.